Welcome to the second episode of MHM Talks. In early November, employees and students from the Malmö Academy of Music and the Faculty of Fine Arts participated in the AEC Congress General Assembly, which was held November 5th till 8th at the Universität Mozarteum in Salzburg. This year's Congress brought together representatives from music academies throughout Europe and the world to discuss the future of music education under the theme The Sound of the Future, Music Education, Leadership, Innovation and Wellbeing. The program was structured around three main areas: the healthy musician in a sustainable world, about sustainability and well-being, education and professional life, educating professionals between tradition and innovation, about how new pedagogical and technological initiative can strengthen the connection between education and the music industry, leadership and advocacy in a global world, about leadership and advocacy in international and transnational contexts. The Congress also included a student-led session organized by the Europe Performing Arts Student Association, where future artistic leaders were giving a clear voice in the conversation about the development of music and education. From the Malmö Academy of Music and the Faculty of Fine Arts, Hans Helsten, Staffan Storm, Rebecca Lasbo, Ivry Kekendaz Gustafsson, Thea Lundbach, and Johanna Hansen participated, as well as student representatives who will be talking in this episode, Daniel Abrahamsson and Svante Valset.
Welcome, my name is Daniel and this is
Svante.
And we are part of the student union here at school, and today we're going to speak about social aspects of music and
how we as a union are trying to connect with the broader international community.
And I am the event coordinator at the student union, and I study singing with songwriting as my main subject at the music teacher training program.
Exactly, and I'm also in the music teacher program, but I study classical piano.
Yes, and Svante, can you talk about what we as the student union at our school are doing?
Yes, so we as a union are trying to create a very broad and united student body that incorporates everyone and makes everyone feel welcome at the school. And that's mainly through creating social events that we try to brand in the correct way to make everyone feel included.
Yeah.
Make sure that we ensure everyone has the ability for student democracy and get their voices heard, even if you're an international student.
Yeah.
And we also have some bigger creative projects that try to blend everyone together, such as Smask, which is a music competition that we host every year.
And if you haven't been part of it and you're studying at the school, be part of Smask.
Yes.
It's an amazing event.
It's wonderful. Yeah, we've both been a part of it many years, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
We also try to attend international events, which we're going to talk a lot about today, such as the AEC and the IPASA conference. And just generally, we also try to promote some student activism around music and activity in music and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, perfect. So me and Svante went to Salzburg this fall, and we went to two conferences. I went to the AEC conference and the IPASA conference, which Svante will talk about a bit later. But the AEC is an organization in Europe who represent higher music education institutions and safeguard the interest of its members. So they will meet with the European Parliament, and they will organize events, and they will help with research projects. And their three main goals is fostering the value of music and music education in society, and enhancing quality in higher music education, and also promoting participation, inclusiveness, and diversity. And the AEC conference happens every year. And this year we went to Salzburg, an amazing city where Mozart is from. And The Sound of Music, the movie, they filmed there as well. And the conference was about a healthy musician in a sustainable world, about educating professionals between tradition and innovation, and also leadership and advocacy in a global world. And those were the main themes of the conference, but they also spoke about AI and the social aspects and inclusivity, which I kind of focused in more. So I tried to go to the seminars and the workshop where they were speaking about the social aspects of music and inclusivity. And the conference for me started with an e-passa workshop. So they had like a pre-workshop at the main AEC conference, and then they had their own conference at the end when Svante joined. So the e-passa workshop, they started with a plane crash in the desert. So we, as smaller groups, had a list of equipment that we brought with us, and we needed to try and survive in the desert. And that really kicked off the conference in a way of collaborating and also the way of looking at leadership, which was really interesting to see people from different countries and different aspects of what they would choose as the most important thing to bring when they're stranded in a desert. And they also had a panel with representatives who are part of student democracy. And they all agreed that leadership is the ability to empower other people to change and evolve. And I think the conference as a whole would speak about leadership a lot, and how leadership is an important aspect of how we can continue to make this world and higher music education a more sustainable and fair place to be. And after that intro, I went to a seminar about the social impact of music. And there they spoke about the Culture 2030 goal. And there's this, United Nations have this sustainable development agenda, and they want culture to be a part of this agenda, where there are different subjects. You know, to have safety and food and water, and they argue that culture and music and art holds creativity and heritage and diversity, and needs to be a foundational part going forward from 2030. And they also asked us the questions of how can contributions of students and graduates to society be made explicit. So I think most people that are studying music and art agree that it is important, but sometimes it can be difficult to really pinpoint why is it important, and therefore it can sometimes be difficult to really, in a clear way, tell other people and politicians and decision makers why it's important to fund the arts and how we need it as a society. And that workshop wasn't really about getting all the answers. It was more about starting to ask those questions. And they also spoke about how music education can contribute to social, environmental, and cultural sustainability. And also what settings dialogues can happen through music and art. So different groups and culture, how can they be connected through music and art? I won't really answer those questions, but I will leave you with them to think about why is music important, and why is it important in a sustainable and a cultural world. Then I went to a seminar about an organization called Live Music Now, which I really felt was this amazing idea. These two women spoke about this organization that arranges concerts for people that normally don't get to see live music. So there would be people that are in prison or in elder care homes, or people with disabilities, or hospitals. And it started in Munich, and they are in 6 countries. And in Munich, they have 500 concerts each year, where students at the higher music education institutions, they get paid to do these concerts. And it was really inspiring to see how they made it possible for students to get more experience playing, but also get people connected with music. So they had a real sense of social responsibility, and they wanted to show dignity to the people in different walks of life. And the students get paid around 150 to 200 euros per concert, which was quite amazing, because it's not always that much money in music, but they had good connections with sponsors, and who really believed in their cause, and that was really inspiring. So that can be something we could think about the student union, if we could find places that people studying here in Malmö could have concerts. You could play some piano, and they spoke about the win-win-win-win of these concerts, and it's that students get extra money and experience, the audience get to experience live music, and the sponsors that want to support these musicians and care homes, etc. And the people working in the organization, they have a passion for the cause, and they really want more people to experience live music. Then I went to a seminar about including students with special education needs. And that is something I think as our society in Sweden we think about, but people with different abilities. But I feel like I don't really think about it. When I applied here, it was not something that I felt like, if someone is blind, can they apply here, and what extra facilities or facilitations do we have at school for them to be able to study here? And one speaker who is legally blind and have 5% vision left, she applied to different music education programs around Europe, and she was met by a lack of interest in helping her find a place to get her degree until she found her place. And she said the lack of technology for sight reading was a big issue, and she felt like it is not in the people's minds to invest in these kind of accommodations. And then a flute, clarinet, and recorder player spoke about that she learned to play the recorder and these instruments, and then she got epilepsy, who is triggered by music. So she spent all her life mastering these instruments, and then she was told by doctors that she couldn't play them anymore. And she refused to give up, so she started studying medicine, and then she invented her own kind of recorder instrument. And then she also learned how to play music in a way that when she felt like she was going to have a seizure, she can start playing other notes. It was incredibly inspiring, and I really felt like this was a kind of a wake-up call, how we as musicians and as an institution have a responsibility to try and meet people from different social backgrounds or different cultures or different abilities to make sure that everyone has the right and the ability to study music, because I think music and culture is for everyone. So I bring with me a lot of new thoughts about these aspects. Not so many answers really, but questions that we all can ask ourselves. How can we be inclusive? How can we do sustainability in our music education? And how can we meet people from all aspects of life? So the AEC conference was a great experience. And then Svante joined me and he will talk about the EPASA.
Yes, so keep going. Yes. So the AEC is obviously a really great meeting place for different institutions to meet and discuss issues and have a shared goal. But a lot of institutions, and especially student unions, felt as though it was a bit strange that the unions and the student body wasn't really represented at this conference. So they've been working for several years to start EPASA instead. Or I guess not instead, but in continuation with this motive.
Yeah.
So EPASA stands for the European Performing Arts Student Association, and they work to bring collaboration between different student unions all over Europe. And their main focus right now is to make sure that there is a solidarity and a channel for communication between the different student bodies. And it's quite a new organization, so it's very exciting of their prospects of influencing the European music education landscape. And what they do in practice is hold the EPASA conference at the AEC, but then they also take their representative role at other conferences and represent the student body's interests. For example, represent different student body interests, and for example, we'll come to a panel maybe at a different event where the student unions weren't invited, but the EPASA board was invited. So then they will kind of represent all of the student unions from all over Europe in those questions. Because often they feel there's a disconnect between the establishment and the student body. So those are the two things they do: hold conferences and attend other conferences and represent the student bodies. So I thought I would talk a bit about the EPASA conference that we attended. And if you want any more information, it's just to type epasa.eu and you'll find out all the information that they have available for you. So we started the first day with a general assembly where we elected new board members as well as got them to meet everyone involved in the community and had some icebreakers as well, just to make sure that everyone was good friends before we began the heated discussions. So we selected a new board, and all of the details are on their website, but it was really exciting to see everyone and how passionate they were about the community. And then that was just the first day. And after that, the AEC ended, but the EPASA conference continued into the next day after a night of feasting and partying. But we still came back the next day, re-energized and ready to discuss some of the more specific topics that we had on the agenda. So the first topic that we talked about the most was student activism. And we had a student from Serbia come and talk about the incredible protests that they've organized throughout all of last year, I think from May of 2024. And these protests have been going on and just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and sort of became this big thing because of the violence against students in their rightful protests and their right to protest. So he talked a lot about how to encourage student activism, how to organize it, and that sort of how you can get involved on different levels. And it was a very inspiring talk, and I really felt a connection to these movements that I haven't really had the experience of having before. And then we continued after the student activism to talk a lot about AI and generative AI and how we can talk about it on an institutional level. A lot of the discussion came to that we felt that music is quite a niche, specific mastering, and AI and generative AI is also quite a niche and specific knowledge base that you need to have. And marrying those two is really very difficult. So what we would like to do is to either encourage the institutions to actually fund a project where these two can collaborate, or that we as a student union share our collective knowledge and try to standardize a legal framework or at least policies that we should adhere to. And that was really moving forward. We had a delegate from Norway who was working with these issues specifically, and he was working on a protocol that should be standardized in Norway as well as in the rest of the European region. So it's really, really interesting to have these discussions. And then we started to talk about, I guess, the more general disconnect between the administration and the student body, and strategies and ways which we could encourage better collaboration, both so that the administration understands the needs of the student body, but also that the student body understands the limitations that maybe the administration have and have a more respectful and prosperous dialogue. And it was a fairly short conference in compared to the AEC, but I really felt like I got so much energy, and I'm still in contact with the people there and trying to move these issues forward and trying to get inspired from all the different student unions. And I think that's about the extent of the conference content. But did you, because I know you felt a lot of strong things afterwards.
Yeah, I think first I just want to say that when Svante came, I think it was two days after me, you were ready to jump in. So he was out, late in the evening and collaborating with other people when I was quite tired and I'd been ill for a week or two. So it was amazing to get that new energy from Svante and really do what I would say that these conferences are about, connecting with other people through Europe to share perspective, and I feel like you did that in an amazing way. So no, I don't think I have anything to add. It's great to just get out there and get some new input and meet other people. And even as you say, you were there for 2 days, I think. You really got your money's worth for it, because there was so much information and so many inspiring talks that we were able to be part of. And
for sure, and I think it's kind of made us look at our student union work and think about, how could we, include the European sort of student association or like student union tricks here, like are there any ways that they're doing it in Spain that maybe we could use, and all these kinds of things to make sure that we're open to these new ideas. And I think It's really been a great springboard for us. But I think that's about everything we have to share with you today. And here are some links for if you want to contact the student union or have any questions or queries at all, just contact us on our Facebook or Instagram and we'll be happy to respond to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.